was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they
sat down from BET, sat down with Gail Mitchell over at Billboard, and they had a conversation about BET's 45-year legacy.
He's the CEO of BET, right?
Yes, CEO of BET. Yes. And they had a conversation about the legacy of 45 years of BET. Now, within the conversation, they talked about a ton of different things, but one of the major things that came out of this interview was we learned that the BET Hip Hop Awards and the BET Soul Train Awards are going to, or right now, are suspended. But he does say that they are not gone. I know yesterday, I saw a conversation around the awards being completely gone and canceled. Yeah. He says in this article they are not going. They're just trying to find a way to rework it so that it fits where we are now. So there have been conversation about the BET Awards being canceled as well, and because of the viewership. So she says viewership dropped almost 50% in a key demographic, which is 18 years old to 49 years old, from last year's show. She asked Scott Mills, does he have any concerns about the longevity of the BET Awards? And he says viewership was down, but the cable ecosystem is smaller, number one, than it was a year ago. And that's just the reality of it. But he also says that a lot of it has to do with the fact that last year they changed the BET Awards from the Sunday that it's always on to a Monday.
Salute to Scott Mills, but I don't know why he's complicating this. These shows just aren't making no money.
Yeah.
Like that's just the moral of the story. The reality of the situation, none of these shows are making the money they need to be on. It's just that simple. If these shows were making money and if these shows were profitable, these shows it would be no question about none of these award shows. They'd be on.
Not only that, you look at the hip hop awards, and if you don't have the top 5 hip hop artists coming to your show, and you're doing a hip hop award show, that kind of hurts as well, right?
Envy makes a great point because the reality of the situation is artists treat these award shows like they're disposable, and they don't come to them, but they'll go to all the white award shows, and that's why the white award shows still get the viewership, and that's why the white award shows still get the sponsorships, because they get the eyeballs. If the top artists came to these shows, they would get the eyeballs, and they'd still be getting the money. But if you do that for years, like they've been ignoring, the BET Hip Hop Award and Soul Train Awards for years. If the top artists ignore those shows for years, eventually people stop watching, and the money dries up. It's not rocket science, people.
Yeah, you want to see your favorite artists. Your favorite artists are not there. The biggest artists are not there performing. You're less likely to watch it. But if I know my favorite artist, the biggest artist, Kendrick, is going to be performing, or this one, you're going to watch. But those artists not performing.
That'll help with the sponsorships.
Yeah, and he also talked about too. BET went through a huge round of layoffs recently as well too, and he talked about just the money being different over there. BET has been at this for a very long time, and the money has been different. Placing advertisers is different as well too because of the things that you guys are talking about. I think across the industry we're seeing a lot of this, but I do think we're impacted a lot differently because the fight for money is different for us. Scott Mills talked about that when he was up here on the Breakfast Club as well. But yeah, I saw a lot of people upset yesterday and kind of like, woe was us and we need these platforms, but people don't support
Give
those
the people
shows.
what they want.
People don't support
those shows. What's so crazy? They always act upset when something is gone. But when it's here, you defecate on it every chance you get. When it's on, you trash the award shows when they on, and you say that the award show is trash and blah blah blah. But then when it's gone, you upset.
Yeah, and you know what?
You got to start. You got to stop treating your culture like it's disposable.
This is
then
a
get
form
mad.
of gentrification. What's going on right now? Right. So I don't know if y'all really want to ask me about this shit right here. Right. So BET came up as a community station for Black people. Right. The urban culture. And our man, Bob Johnson, took the check. He sold it, first Black billionaire, whatever the case may be. He sold it. He sold it to Viacom and Paramount, MTV and them, VH1 and them. Little by little over the years, quietly, they've been firing a lot of people behind the scenes in BET, and everybody who has something to say, they've been firing them and this and that. And I know because I've been working on the BET Hip Hop Awards for 3 years. Shit was like the budget, not for me, but the budget just getting chopped and chopped and chopped. And last year, I debuted my single with Khaled in the VMAs, and Katy Perry's still flying through the air in the VMAs. They still blowing out of the cannons. They still flying in the air. They still got all the tricks. They still got the budgets. They got the shit, And so I think in the entertainment world, I don't think I know this was like a form of gentrification. They kept underfunding them, and you ain't got no money to be creative. That's why you was watching the Ratchet Awards and all that. They ain't had no bread. Last year we shot the last joint, and I am
They have bread for what they want to have bread for.
I'm so honored for the opportunity, Connie Orlando and the whole crew to let me host. That was one of the biggest things I ever wanted to do in my life. You know, I look up, if I never told you, I look up to a Steve Harvey. So Steve Harvey's my guy at media that I want to be like. And so, you know, that made me feel like I was Steve Harvey of hip hop and trying to keep it consistent. But I saw what they did to him. They just stopped the budgets. They started firing. I almost said arrested. They started firing a bunch of people who brought a lot to the table. And now we're left with, guess what? This ain't working. But nothing without no money, no promotions, no staff, no nothing works. It just don't work. You might as well have called it the Independent Awards. BET, this is a form of...
It's your boy James CB back with another video with the channel, man. Man, it's getting crazy out here, bro. Nuts. We know that recently the BET Awards, Hip Hop Awards, and I believe the Soul Train Awards, these Soul Train Awards and BET Awards been canceled. And so Fat Joe and Jadakiss on their podcast, they react to the news just like everybody else online, figuring out what happened and why things have been the way that they are for the BET Awards and things like that. And I just say, you know, this is what happens, right? Like, you know, our award shows and contributions to not just hip hop and music in general, sometimes they go unnoticed, sometimes they go overlooked, and it could be very disrespectful. And you know, I see that hip hop and we are now the new pop music. We made, as far as hip hop, we made music better as far as the contribution, right? We contributed a lot. We made it popular. It's like one of the #1 genres. Everybody wants to be a part of it, right? But those award shows, they don't get the proper recognition they deserve sometimes. So we may wonder, like, hey, why does it look so cheesy? Why does it look so, it don't look organized, it's not put together properly? Where is the extra bells and whistles, you know? Why aren't certain artists tending, right? When we look at these type of things, we go, hey, why does it seem that these award shows go disrespect? It is underwatched. We just have to value us and our thing, right? When that was a part of our culture, right? So, and again, for me, it's not a race thing, right? Because hip hop is a vibe, it's a movement. It's, you can have a contribution to hip hop if you are painting murals on the wall, right? And graffiti and on the wall, and you know, legally though, right? You know, you're creating art pieces. You're creating, you know, let's just say you go and do a painting and you paint the depiction of what the early stages of hip hop was, and you got pictures of people breakdancing. You got a colorful graffiti background, right? And you make an oil painting with that, right? That's still a part of hip hop. Right, that's still something contributing to the art form, right? So when you look at that and you go, gosh, you know, that painting and the oil, and look at the way that a certain canvas that was used and things like that, and let's just say that sells, that's you profiting off of the arts, right, and the art form and the culture, right? So literally, and anybody could, that could be an Italian guy's painting who just woke up and was like, I'm inspired by hip hop and the culture, right? I'm inspired by that group of people, right? We would love to adopt that person in the culture because they're showing the love and respectful. And that's the thing, where's the love and respect for hip hop, right? You ain't gotta put $1 billion behind it, but show some respect for the ones that came before. It's not easy to make an album. It's not easy to write a great verse. You know, it's not easy to sit there and say, hey, I'm just going to draw a picture or create something related to hip hop. No, it takes work. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes discipline, right? For somebody to say, hey, I'm going to go and put this performance on. I'm going to create this great body. Or I'm going to conceptualize whatever I'm doing that's hip hop related. I want to put on a hip hop show. Okay, who are we honoring? Oh, Slick Rick did this. Oh man, that was a break, dude. And his storytelling. Oh, Big Daddy Kane was the smoothest, the coolest. Bip, right? Oh no, it's ahead of his time with Illmatic, right? Jay came with so much melancholy, and it made you think about the other side of the game. When he came with Reasonable Doubt, man, Pac was the illest ever because of this. You look how many things he did, this, that, and the third, right? Scarface, one of the most lyrical storytellers ever out of the South. When they wasn't giving the South credit for lyrics, man. Andre 1000 of Bees. UGK told you about Pac for the Stones and Riding Dirty. Get what I'm saying? The West Coast kicked in the door with gangster rap. East Coast hit you with mafioso rap, right? These are legendary moments in hip hop. Everybody did their thing, right? And when you look at it, everybody is so, oh, the South this, West Coast this, East Coast this. When it comes to all of that, when you talk about the DMV area, when you talk about Baltimore, let me say it in my actual accent, right? You know what I mean? Because you gotta do what to do, you feel me? Like, Baltimore, like, I'm gonna say it my way, right? We look at it different. We see everything else moving, right? Because we late to this party. We just starting to get some artists in the city recognized, right? And people showing them love, and I respect that, right? Beautiful thing, right? Don't matter what type of music you create, Baltimore, you're from Baltimore. That's the shit, right? But I love everything about hip hop. Let me start there. So, I mean, yeah, this new melodic, I love lyrics. I love bodies of work when it comes to skits and all of these type of things. I want it all to be celebrated, right? Because it's a piece of blues in hip hop. It's a piece of soul music in hip hop. It's a piece of everything in hip hop, right? But we've had a piece of every part of the genre, every part of music since its inception, and that cannot be denied. We need to be honored as well. So now that there's no Source Awards, there's no Double XL Awards, there's no Hip Hop Awards, Soul Train Awards is basically canceled. It's all gone, right? When we get to the VMAs, or when we get to the American Music Awards, and when we get to the Grammys and the Billboard Awards, and we get to these, we have to carve out such small space for hip hop and R&B. And everybody's not going to get celebrated and honored, even if they deserve it, right? Killer Mike won 3 Grammys for his Michael album, right? But at the same time, people were so shocked and surprised by that. But why? Great body of work, delivered with, the album, delivery, everything, roll out. You know what I mean? Talk about topics, right? Growing up, vulnerable, bare the soul, talking about his mom and grandmom, like what he did as a teenager, being a young father, possibly being a young father, the mistakes he made. That's growth and evolution and being able to speak on it and talk about it, but we don't want to respect that. That's crazy to me. Our artists, our great ones, whether they, no matter what region or part of the country they came from, you dope. You deserve to be celebrated in any light, from your Kendrick Lamars to your Drakes to your J. Cole's to just anybody who done something for the culture. No matter what they're doing now, no matter how far they've fallen from wherever they were, right? No matter if they suing for this or suing for that, I think all of that's corny. The whole beef, all of it's jacked up. I think everybody can get more money together. That's just me, right? But we talking about people fighting for their respect, their legacy, to be celebrated. You know, it's going to create an ego. Think about that. They all hip hop don't get along and this, that, third. It's a young man's game. That's because everybody has treated hip hop and treated these artists in hip hop to a point where they're divisive on their own without any push or narrative whatsoever. Oh, he not this enough. He not that enough. He not hood enough. She not street enough. This not that enough. That person too nice. Oh, that person's corny. No, it's all corny because it's narratives that drove people apart and drove entities apart. And I think that that's totally disrespectful. Like, share, subscribe, man. Hit the notification bell. Drop them comments. Let us know what you think. Jada and Fat Joe breaks down why they believe these shows will count.